Welcome to Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Today we have Eric Barry. Hello.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
It's been quite the journey to get you to this, to get us to this point. Let's not put it all on you, but I'd say it's pretty much your fault. You bring chaos with you.
I guess so. Like, I like to think that that's not my aim.
It's not your aim.
But you know, like people who say they're like I hate drama and they're like the most dramatic people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I hope I'm not that person. I say I hate drama.
I don't. But I just know that I'm so dramatic that I embrace it. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's just perfect. Like the first time we tried to have you, I tried to get you here. It's just like the breaking communication was beautiful, and then it was like this time, and then yeah, we've synced up in our filthy lifestyles
Yes.
to make today happen.
Yes.
It's so great. How much sleep have you had?
I think 2 hours, maybe. Not good quality sleep. Like minor alcohol withdrawal. Yeah.
I've got beer if you want.
And I think I'm gonna try to stay sober for the next few hours.
Yeah, me too. Although, why? That's the question.
Yeah.
Do you have shows tonight?
I do. I have a show tonight. I'm more concerned about missing my flight tomorrow.
I think that's a valid concern for you, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it?
It's at 12:15 in the afternoon.
I'd say double check.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's to the States? You're going back to the States?
That's to London.
That's to London.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been. I'm going there.
Oh, I go to London on Thursday.
We'll be in London together.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I have had a nightmare of a time trying to figure out how to book shows there.
It's not fun, actually, London. Yeah, the bigger the city, the harder it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As in, like, the more established. Did you get a spot somewhere?
I think I have 2 over the course of 6 days.
Damn.
A lot of the shows that I messaged, like they're at the Fringe right now.
Yes,
so
yeah, the bookers are at the Fringe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But you know, like I don't know if you saw that like Excel spreadsheet or whatever, that Google Doc of like A to Z, whatever. And I spent 3 hours and just got to like the letter C. Like there's so many fucking places.
Yeah. I remember that spreadsheet and I haven't looked at it because I just go directly to asking the people that I know on the scene.
Right.
Where should I play, do you think?
Right.
And who should I contact?
Right.
Lazy, but
Yeah.
But efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you playing? Are you playing anywhere on Friday?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm playing at Comedy Cabin. If anyone is in London and wants to come, I will be playing at Comedy Cabin. I'm so excited. Got a 10-minute spot on Friday. It was the only night I could do, so it was perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. And you've got accommodation?
I have a hostel.
Great.
I've lived a fair portion of the last 2 years of my life out of backpack and hostels.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I did want to talk about you having sex with someone that you shouldn't theoretically be having sex with.
Which one?
Exactly. But I'm also interested in your story around like how long you've been, like you based where in the state? Like where is home in the States?
Home was San Francisco, but that hasn't been the case since like 2014.
Okay. And then?
Chicago, then New York, then all over Europe.
Chicago, and you were doing comedy in Chicago and New York.
Chicago, like kind of, I broke my jaw in Chicago.
Too much.
I slipped on the ice. I'd never lived in snow before on St. Patrick's Day where there may have been some drinking. And
oh, you broke your jaw.
This is a metal plate in my chin here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That must have been horrific.
Yeah, I was conscious for the whole thing. Like I didn't. It didn't.
You were
feel
so
good.
drunk.
It didn't feel good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are 2 fake teeth.
You didn't get knocked out. Wow.
No. But my point in that was that having my jaw wired shut for 2 months kind of took me out of the stand-up comedy game.
Wild.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Your jaw was wired shut.
Yeah. I had a podcast and I would podcast like this. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
This is interesting,
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah. Okay.
2
months.
Yeah. I lost a lot of weight. It's a really great diet when you can't fit food into your mouth.
So you could just drink through a straw, I assume.
Yeah. I would lots of smoothies, and then you get like canned Indian food and put it in a blender. So you have a little bit of salty. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's bleak. Like Indian food is delicious, but that's wow.
Yeah. you don't know what living is till you've had chicken tikka masala through a straw.
That's so gross, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I like how instead of that being an opportunity for you to shut the fuck up, you decided to do a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. But I pivoted from there. I was like, maybe stand-up's not like the healthiest scene for me. And so I did the Chicago thing and like started doing like improv and sketch.
Okay. So you thought improv and sketch would be healthier.
I think that the people are a little bit more balanced in there. They're used to like working with other people and like helping each other out on stage, and it's not so competitive. And people don't, like, the audience doesn't judge improvisers the way they judge stand-up comedians.
For sure, because of what they're doing. It's a very different thing.
Yeah.
But interesting. Okay. But like there are some, I think you could say that about improvisers, because also there are very there are way fewer improvisers that are really doing it as a full-time job aspiration kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like what are you going to do? Like get the only Netflix special where you're an improviser?
Right. You end up teaching improv.
You teach it's a hobby.
Yeah.
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
So naturally, so they're going to have a bit more of a balanced lifestyle, I guess. But there are people that are not as mentally unwell in stand up as others.
Right. I don't tend to attract those kind of people, but
they're not so interesting, are they? Or no, like I've got those friends. I think I'm relatively, stable, but I'm also crazy. But like I'm quite stable for crazy.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know each other that well.
We don't.
Gotten to see those sides of you. Yeah.
No, you haven't. You're just seeing me on the come down from a bit of a party time.
Yeah.
Not feeling that sharp this morning.
Yeah.
It's not this one. It's like 4 p.m. You mentioned as soon as you came over, you were like, oh, I did the show last night. I was like, oh, yeah, because it's Saturday. And it's like, it's Monday. It's Tuesday. Yeah. Together. Okay, so then Chicago, mouth sewn shut, 2 months, moved into improv, and then...
So I was in Chicago for 4 years, then went to New York for 3 years, started to kind of get back into stand-up there. Then the pandemic hit, and it really wasn't until the first time tried to move to Berlin that I like fully re-engaged with stand-up. And it was, the scene is so different here, like vibe-wise, in a way that I like, that it kind of motivated me to like, okay, let's get back into this. Yeah.
Why do you say tried to move to Berlin? How come you haven't succeeded in moving to Berlin?
I know. I have not been able to get housing as an issue. I think a well-known thing for most people, but also getting like a EU visa.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah, and a job that would sponsor my visa. So I blew through like $40,000 in retirement savings trying to move here the last 2 years.
You've got, there's a lot in there, Eric. Like you've got so many kind of like unfortunate things happening around you. Not just broken iPhones and
broken jaws
and laptops with water spilt on them, and being mugged in Lisbon twice. What is happening? How are you? How is all this stuff happening around you? Like what's?
I have a theory. I don't know if it's true or not, because like I tend to attract, like literally last night 2 dudes tried to fight me, and I think maybe because I'm not easily put into a box, that makes people uncomfortable, and they're not sure what to do with me, and it annoys them and incites anger in them.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't know. Like literally, it was at by Schlavinchen last night.
Well, that kind of... But dude, like, I think most people could almost get into fights at Schlavinchen.
Yeah. First dude was like, made me play foosball with him.
That's so Schlavinchen.
And then, like, got angry at me, like, because he was, like, just being an asshole to me. And I was like, dude, what the... Like, and then he got mad that I was, like, roasting him back. And then just a random dude outside said...
That's not okay. I even booked someone else for the podcast because I didn't believe that you were
great. Good to feel loved.
You're here.
I'm giving up potentially having sex with a woman right now.
Yeah. To be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll be done quickly.
She literally asked if she could come over. I was like, I don't know Anna that well. She's like, I just want to listen. I'm like, nah.
Okay, she's got boundary issues. And she's the one that's... Can we talk about... Do you feel comfortable talking in detail?
I do.
Okay, great. Wonderful. That's my approach with all topics. Good. So she has a boyfriend. They're in an open relationship.
They're in an open relationship. We met in Lisbon. He was back in Germany. And, when, like, there's someone, like, they're not even particularly, like, physically attractive, but there's just some sort of, like, pheromone, like, energy kind of thing.
It's good that she's not here,
huh? No, I mean, she's a very pretty young woman.
I'm just not that attracted to her physically, just like it's the smell. It must that's the only way I can understand it. She smells funny.
No, she's very, very pretty, but there's something very compelling about her, and she's kind of an asshole, and I don't think that's the compelling thing. It's like in spite of her.
Yeah.
I think it's in spite of her being an asshole. Like, there's just something, and I think she feels kind of the same way about me. So, like, her boyfriend, I think she got into me enough that the boyfriend was like, I don't want you to see that guy anymore.
Yeah. And
that was the end of it. And then, like, got a late night message, text, and she said, like, can I be explicit on this? Okay.
Oh, dude, please. Okay. That's what I hope for. Yes, please.
She's like very strict about, condom usage. But like the night before she was leaving, this is one of the best nights of my life, like sex wise. So I stopped giving a shit when I knew I was leaving Lisbon, and I just started, I'm wondering how much of an asshole this is going to make me sound like, but I just started, like, any, like, woman that would follow me on Instagram, I would just message them and be like, do you want to get a drink? And, like, all of them said yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I had to start, like, calendaring out, like, and so...
You had to use a calendar app, Eric. Is that what you had to do? You had to organize your schedule.
But I had a date. I had a date at a comedy show, and this woman, I guess you could say a fan. I don't fucking know. Like, yeah. But like,
call it a fan. Her, I should say.
Yeah. She decided. So she came to the show, and then this other girl was like leaving Lisbon. I was like, I can't see you. I have this other date tonight, and she was. The girl one was like, I'm going to go home. I was like, oh, fuck, it's not working. She's like, no, I want you to come with me. But in the interim of her saying she was going to go home, I messaged girl two and was like, I'm free. But yeah. But so I go over to girl one's house, and she straight up says, like, out of the gate, she's like, you're going to come in my ass, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And
that is a strong starting line.
I've come in asses with condoms, but I've never, like, raw dogged came in a girl's ass.
Because that's dangerous. You don't usually do anal sex without a condom. That terrifies. That terrifies me.
Yeah. So I knew that, like, she also meant, like, right, the implication was, like, condomless, and so.
But also coming in the ass, okay, is also not ideal, I think, with what happens inside.
Uh-huh. I mean, it's not really what I'm not dealing with it, but I just wanted to give her what she wanted,
Absolutely. And so, but you said the implication was that you would be using condoms.
Would not be using.
Yeah, exactly.
So that happens, and then she's like, I have insane roommates that, like, we have to be super quiet, so you can't actually stay over. So now it's like 2-3 in the morning, and I go back to text girl number 2, and I'm like, hey, I'm free now. And then
a bit doggy, but I would also do it if I would. Yeah.
But she knew I was on this date or whatever. Yeah. And then we hung out, and then she was always strict about condom usage, but I guess because it was her last night or something, I don't fucking know. She was like, "You're gonna come inside of me."
2 in 1 night.
And I've never like double backed like that. I don't think double decker. I don't know. Like, I've never. But, like, people are like, oh, you're just having sex for validation. And it's like, yes.
Yeah. Pretty much.
How, like, is that so wrong? Like
why else?
How could that not be, like, a feather in my cap,
Absolutely. Like, doing 2 in 1 day, like, as in, like, having, a couple of hours in between. It makes you feel pretty good about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you came in her asshole and then you came in another woman's vagina within a space of hours.
Correct.
How, like did you wash pretty solidly?
I mean, like the vagina's self-cleansing anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have your pH thing
That
set
is
up. Like,
not.
there's I think that was part of the hotness, like, for girl 2 is like how filthy I am.
Okay. Did she know what happened with girl 1?
She knew I was with girl 1. I don't know if she knew like which orifices were involved.
Okay. So you didn't mention that, but
I don't know if that came up.
okay. All right. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. You know, that's fair. I respect that.
Bacterial vaginosis is fun to, learn about. And, yeah.
Is that something that she needed to talk to you about later?
No.
No, okay. The vagina is self-cleansing. That's why I don't wash my dick. Like, I love... It's so gross and not okay. And for any listeners who are confused, that absolutely isn't good science.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you should also not, like, double dip, like, ass to pussy is never...
I'm for sure, but I also had a woman who, like, specifically requested, like, separate time or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know, like, could lead to one of 3, well, it could lead to a lot of things, but, like, the 3 big yeast infection, BV, and the other one.
HIV.
No. There's some other, like, vagina-specific
Oh, vagina. Okay.
thing.
Oh, no,
UTI.
I thought you were talking
UTI,
UTI,
yeah.
Yeah. But also just like, I think, I wonder. No, I think you wouldn't, yeah, those would be the only real risks, aside from, like, can you give someone HIV through vaginal sex?
Yes, 100%.
100%, right?
Yeah.
But is it only if there's a wound? Like,
No.
there's like...
It's, so the
I thought
reason...
it was just blood to blood.
No. There's actually, so blood has the highest concentration, then semen, then I think breast milk, then, like, vaginal secretions, saliva, which is like nothing.
Yeah, saliva's like nothing. I know.
Yeah.
I knew that. But semen has quite a high content of the HIV, like, virus.
It does, and that's why, like, in the gay community, in the male gay community, there's so much HIV because the anal tearing is like little fissures are like very easy, and it's usually like overwhelmingly the recipient who gets it. So like, similarly with men and women, like the guy is much less likely to get it from having sex with a woman with HIV than a man with HIV giving it to a woman. Yeah.
But I still understood, like, it's, I like the rates of women contracting it from semen in their vagina, it's lower, right?
I don't know if that's true. Like, there was an epidemic of HIV in, like, the black female population in the U.S. Because there's sorry to get so serious, but, like, there's, like,
no, this is interesting.
There's a lot of homophobia that can run along with some of, like, the black community in the U.S. So there was a lot of dudes who were gay, but, like, on the DL, fucking, and then going back to their girlfriends and giving it to them. Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. That would be a shitty way to get HIV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, you just take a pill every day.
Yeah, it's totally, what I loved, I was talking about this with a comedian yesterday, talking about how the last time I got tested, which was like 2 months ago, which was the first time since April 2020.
Yeah.
The guy was so lovely. Like, I was sure I had everything. And he was like, look, I didn't have any symptoms, but I was just like, there've been so many moments where it's like, Anna, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So he was so reassuring. He was like, look, everything that you have or might have can be treated here. We can treat everything here. And it was so reassuring, but I think it's also badly, when it, like, you're like, oh, everything's treatable.
Right.
And it's not making me say, like, I would almost prefer, it would almost be more effective for a doctor to be like, you are lucky, you are alive, and you need to, condoms forever. And I'll be like, yes. But instead of this, like, everything that could have is treatable here. It's like...
Yeah. I'm so much more scared of getting a girl pregnant than catching, like, an STD, because most of them you just pop a pill for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
at most.
yeah. How many different STDs have you had,
I've
Eric?
only had that I know of. I'm very meticulous about getting tested. I've only had one, and it was fucking terrifying. Which was, I went in because I'm so pasty and white for like a skin cancer check at the dermatologist. And you know how like dicks have like where the hair follicles are near the base, and it's kind of, for lack of a better word, like looks like not pimply, but like there's little like anyway.
Yeah, there's a texture there.
There's a yeah. Everything looked normal to me, and then he was like, what's the name? I can't think. What's the, not herpes, the other one?
Not herpes.
It was a wart.
Yeah,
and like it didn't
warts.
look like, you know, when I think of a wart, like I think of like some fucking hilly mountainous thing on some lady's face.
Yeah,
it was
they're just like little guys on people's like
it was
thumbs
the tiniest pinprick of like a dot. And he's like, oh yeah, that's a wart. I was like, what? And then he had like burned it off, and that wasn't fun.
Oof.
And he's like, you're actually really lucky because like this is one of the small, like it's one.
Yeah.
And it's so small, and he's like, basically, more or less you'll develop like an immunity to it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, were you vaccinated for HPV?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was of the age, I'm 36, where they actually didn't approve it for men at first.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's just women that need to get this, even though we can pass it on to you guys.
Dumb, but yes.
Yeah, and I mean, now they give it to everybody. But so then I got vaccinated like after the fact. So I'm kind of like immune to warts, but like there's never any like outbreak that happened again. But no, I've never gotten anything else miraculously somehow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I've had more STDs than you.
It's, you know, badge of honor, I suppose.
Oh. How old are you?
36.
Okay, and you're 1 year older than me. Oh, hold on. Did you turn 36 this year?
I did.
You're an 86?
No, I'm an 85.
Okay. All right. I turned 36 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're a year older than me, and you haven't had chlamydia. That's amazing. That's the only STD I've had.
Yeah. How does that go?
Look, I think I really just had it for like 3 years, and I thought I treated it, but I hadn't. And so then I tested positive over a course of maybe I've had it a couple of times. And yeah.
3 years seems like that could get a little out of control if it
the symptoms, okay. So with chlamydia, the symptom that made me go and get checked was that I had sex and then I bled like hymen breaking, like bleeding. And I was like, I'm not menstruating. Yeah. And so then I got tested and boom, chlamydia, yes. But then actually before that was before my ex-husband, yeah. So it was with this Italian fitness advisor that I was like, oh, we have chlamydia. Like, I was like, have you ever been tested? He's like, yes, I've done all the tests. I'm like, so have you been tested for chlamydia? He's like, what's chlamydia?
Oh, no.
Like, oh, fuck. So I got chlamydia with him, and then I think I guess I thought I treated it. But I'm not sure if back then we did the second test to make sure it was gone, because that's the other thing you have to do. And so maybe I just kept the chlamydia, gave it to my husband, and then, but I stopped, like I wasn't bleeding anymore with sex. So the symptoms wasn't there. So I thought it was fine. And then tested positive when I was with my husband. And then we treated ourselves, but then I know that we also had unsafe sex whilst we were being treated. Like, because, okay, so the doctor was like, so you can't have sex for the next 7 days. So what do? I had anal sex. Like, that wasn't... that wasn't going to transmit it. Yeah. And they also didn't tell us, like, oral sex as well. That was only something I discovered in Berlin. So, yeah. And so then I think maybe I got treated, but then again, I tested positive in Berlin, like my first year here.
Yeah.
So it could have been the same infection across 2 years, or I got it again.
Yeah. Chlamydia, like, it doesn't sound as bad as some of the, like gonorrhea sounds
so bad.
Yeah.
Just to say that you've had gonorrhea is like it makes you feel like you're, a curbside dusty tramp, whore, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, he talked about it on my podcast, so I think it's fair game to talk about. But like, like, have you heard Rob's story about getting gonorrhea? The throat?
I think he just had tonsillitis though.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know.
That's what I was worried last week. I was like, do I have gonorrhea or do I have tonsillitis?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he had just had tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He was because he said he got
was
like
convinced that motherfucker.
he said he got like brutally like throat fucked like by a guy from Grindr.
Yeah, I got like that happened to me. I had tonsillitis.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonorrhea.
Yeah.
Because gonorrhea is like I was reading all the symptoms. Gonorrhea is like itchy and like aggravated, whereas like tonsillitis is just inflamed.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah. I think Rob admitted that he thinks it was just tonsillitis in the end. Okay. He didn't really get gonorrhea. Like he hasn't got that gay badge of honor yet.
Right.
But gonorrhea of the throat, I remember hearing about that when you remember ER, the show?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I was like 9 and there was an episode where a woman had gonorrhea of the throat.
Yeah. It's not like calm, it's not easier to get, like you can get gonorrhea anywhere. You can get like gonorrhea of the shoulder.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah. That's why when people talk about like, I'm not advocating, despite everything I've said on this, for having condomless sex, but people speak about condoms as though like that's an all-inclusive protective thing, and
it's
like,
not.
No,
because oral sex, you can transmit everything with oral sex except HIV.
Yeah, but you can get you can get herpes on your ball sack, like whatever, like
absolutely.
all that stuff.
Also, yeah, herpes on your ball sack.
You know.
It had a good ring to it.
Sure.
Herpes is the one that scares me the most, actually.
Yeah.
Whenever I get like a little pimple, I'm like, and it's just like constantly on my mind. I'm like, do I have herpes? Like the number of times I've like opened my browser private, and been like genital, and like, it's definitely just a pimple. And then it goes away, and it's like, of course it was just a pimple,
right.
But it's like it gets me very stressed.
Right. When you do the private browsing thing, is the fear that someone will someday be on your phone and it'll like auto-populate?
Yep.
Auto-complete okay.
Or that like I forget to close the page and someone opens it and they're like, genital. Oh no, Anna.
Yeah.
I just don't want anyone knowing, except all of the people that listen to my podcast, that I search and worry about having genital herpes.
Right. Yeah. I started doing the private browsing thing just out of paranoia, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
like, what do you privately browse?
Just my fucked up porn selection.
Oh, all right.
I mean,
So, how fucked up is your porn selection?
So there's things that like I enjoy because of their fucked upness. I don't enjoy the thing. I enjoy the fucked upness of it. So, for instance, like
when you say enjoy, that means like it makes you hard and excited.
But in the porn context, like I don't think I would ever want to be in the same room as any kind of like scat play that's happening.
But you search scat play?
I go through the thing like once every year or and a half.
No shame.
No, I'm not. I have no shame about it. But it's like, but like, or like the other day, like I googled like midget porn.
Oh yeah.
And like, but that's
not fucked up.
But then once I get over, I've also like amputee porn.
Where they use the stump? That's always what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Like nature's dildo.
Right.
Because the penis isn't nature's dildo. Yeah.
But I'm not into those things. I don't think I'd nothing against whatever, but I don't think I'd particularly be into some of those types of.
You wouldn't seek out actual sex with these.
I don't think so. But enough drugs and alcohol, like
totally, and it's also like, I'll tick that off the list. I didn't know I had.
Right. Yeah, but I'll just cycle through like weird, fucked up stuff, and once I go through a couple days of that, I'm like, I'm not into it anymore because it's not hot anymore because I've demystified the whole thing, and then I go away from it for like a year, and then I'll come back to it.
Specifically midgets. I mean,
I'm just
little people. What is the little people? Little people. Amputees.
Which sounds so much more demeaning to me. But
I hate it. Yeah, I don't get it. I think midgets got strength. Okay, and scat.
Yeah.
I've seen some scat stuff where I'm like, oh yeah. Like I think if you have enough anal, you're like, I'm not into scat, but it's like, I think there's something I'm always talking about anal. I don't have anal sex that much, but like I think there's something. If there's like shit in the porn, that's like it's accepting the fact that that's part of the body and part of that can be sometimes part of the act.
Sure.
By accident.
I think that's like anal sex is a perfect example. Like it doesn't feel better than as a dude. It doesn't feel better. Who's giving? It doesn't feel better than vaginal sex. It's the fact that like because yes, it's like tighter going in, but then once you're inside there, it's all loosey goosey.
Yeah, it's just like a ring. Exactly.
It's the idea that you're not supposed to do it that makes it hot.
But there's also the tightness, and there are also like you can be hitting spots within the rectum a bit. Like there can be some contact with some walls. Yeah.
I mean, ideally, you hope you're not running into too much in there. But like,
I'm talking like the body, not the
last night's taco salad.
Taco salad. Exactly. You don't want to be running into anything that's not part of the structure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But same with like the ass to mouth and ass to pussy thing. Like that it's the idea that you're not supposed to be doing it.
Totally. That makes it hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But no, it's not better. Like I know a lot of guys who are like, I much prefer vaginal because it's like there's contact the whole way.
Right. Right.
And more stimulating.
Yeah.
But hold on. So we've danced around a few things. So I'm not sure. We go back to this woman and talking about. Hold on, no, because then we talked about that one bang bang. Yeah, you talked about the bang bang. Yeah, the two hits, the double decker.
Yeah.
You brought that up because that connects to this person who wants to have sex with you today, or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without maybe being too revealing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, that opportunity has arisen. Yeah.
And okay, so cheating. So okay, you talked a bit about before we started recording your ideas of monogamy,
right.
And so what's where you at on that stuff?
So I used to have a podcast like before everybody had one, like in 2012, and about sex and dating. And
was that when your jaw was?
During part of that period, yeah. So I would interview porn stars, sex workers, sexologists, like therapists, some biologists. Like, so over the course of the 4.5 years I had it, I was interviewing lots of ethically non-monogamous people.
Yep.
Of which I was not. I was just monogamous. Like, I'd never cheated on anybody before, but through talking to them, like, every week I ended up being like, wow, they're making great points. And I started to embrace that as a philosophy. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, if you look at the statistics of marriage and relationships and cheating or whatever, it's like monogamy is clearly not working for most people.
Yeah.
I don't know why we keep trying to adhere to it, but yeah. So I think I haven't been in a monogamous relationship since 2013, something like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's impressive. When I moved to Berlin, I was like, because my marriage had been open in certain ways.
Yeah.
And I had no intention of ever having a monogamous relationship again. But then, you're in Berlin and you have this idea that people are progressive and open-minded in those directions, and then you find yourself meeting a lot of people that are actually quite conservative, and they've moved to Berlin for different reasons than you have, and then boom, I was in another monogamous relationship, and then boom, I cheated on. I haven't cheated on all my partners, and and when I had the open relationship, there was zero cheating because we were having sex with other people, and and my very first boyfriend, I didn't cheat on him, and there was another boyfriend that I didn't cheat on. Yeah, I've had long relationships where I didn't cheat, but then I have cheated in other ones, So I tend to... I really want to read Sex at Dawn. Have you read it?
I have not.
Yeah, I really want to read that just to kind of bolster my understanding and the sort of, the... jealousy and stuff. What's your ideal setup for an open for a relationship then? How do you negotiate the ethics of the non-monogamy?
I don't.
I'm gonna get water.
Yeah. I don't know if I fully know the answer to that. I think jealousy is kind of a natural part of just existing in the world.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like in the open relationship thing that like people be like, oh, so like you felt great when you found out she was banging. So it's like, no, I didn't feel great, but like I felt better that I was also then able to go like bang some other chick and like and that at the end of the day we could come together and love each other and support each other. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the best solution, like the best alternative to whatever, and cheating, lying.
How do you protect, how do you negotiate the sort of jealousy is natural, but there's ways to make it less painful, I think. So it's like, do you tell each other who you're banging? Do you tell each other nothing? Do you tell how do you manage the discomfort of the jealousy?
Right. I think it depends on the individual, but I don't know, and I don't have enough experience to be honest with like, I don't get in relationships very often. But so it's always like this kind of loose kind of dating thing. Yeah. There are people, there's times when I've wanted to like know everything. Usually it's like my other partner that doesn't want to know so much. It's like don't ask, don't tell kind of thing.
Yeah. But if you ask, you tell?
If they ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we barely know each other, and I couldn't wait to tell you about these two back to like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I love talking about sex, and
but I mean, like you haven't had a dynamic where they're like, I don't want to know, even if I ask, you don't tell me.
I kind of had that in my last kind of relationship here, and it was weird because she was fine, like I was fine hearing about her stories, but then she didn't want to know about mine. So she would like, you know, like literally, I remember calling her and hearing the other guy on the other end of the phone. And I was like coming back from Prague to here that day. And like, shit ended up coming out. She's like, oh, I was with this dude. I was like, yeah, I 100% know that. Like, she's like, how did you know? I'm like, I could hear him on the other end of the phone. But it's like and then like the day I left, she also like banged a dude, which is like fine, but it was like, not wasting any time. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like,
yeah. Okay. Straight into it. She sounds cool.
To be honest, that kind of like fucked me. Like I'm still having like issues with leaving Europe, and like the last time we saw each other was on the U-Bahn on the way where I was on the going to the airport to Lisbon. Yeah. Like crying, like bawling, like kissing each other, telling each other how much we loved each other, and then she broke up with me via text, like while I'm in Lisbon and she was here, and I was like, what the fuck? So that fucked me up. But
via text.
I mean, she's Italian, you know. I don't know if that means anything, but
I don't. But like that makes you feel better saying it, huh?
I don't know.
I like putting nationality in there. I think it gives the flavor.
Yeah.
It does give a flavor to it. That sounds yeah, and breaking up via text. Like I think breaking up in any form is always merciful. End it if you need to end it. Not ending it is worse, I think.
Well, the thing what was so bizarre and why I don't have any like resolution around what happened is, so she got she was feeling super sick, and she's getting her master's, and like so they had to test like 3 times a week for COVID. But she's like, no, Eric, I've never felt so sick in my life. And I was like, okay, Bianca. You know.
We don't have a surname. Do you want me to edit that out?
No, it's fun. It's, you know, I was like.
It's a good fake name.
It is a good fake name.
It's a good fake name.
I was like, okay, maybe like, you know, stay inside, whatever, like take care of yourself. And she's like, no, I'm going dancing with my friends. And I was like, but dude, she's like, I'm not contagious. I'm not sick. It's just because I've been overexerting my body. And I'm like,
yeah, she is.
I'm like, even if it's not COVID, if it's whatever, like, don't be an asshole and go. And so she went out, and then she got so sick the next 2 days that she had to stay inside. She was only half vaxxed and whatever. And she was supposed to fly out 10 days later to see me. And so she had to get fully vaxxed to do that. And then she went in on like the Monday to try to get vaccinated. And they're like, you have COVID. And so I was upset with her. I was like, dude, I told you, like, you're being kind of an asshole. And she got mad at me that I got mad at her. And that's what started the breakup. And I was like, really? Yeah. So, yeah, it's been hard for me to wrap my brain around that.
It sounds, I feel like this person might also be the kind of person that says, like, I don't like drama.
Right.
And yet, because, you know, that sounds like there's a lack of responsibility taking there. And
yeah.
But then there's always communication stuff in couples. Like, you don't know unless you're in it.
Yeah. I think there was, like, also, like, a pride issue there because she was a little younger. She was 26. And...
Okay. Yeah.
I think, like...
I can come into that.
I hate to say told you so kind of thing. Didn't sit well with her, but like, yeah.
How hard did you push that? You were just upset that you couldn't see her, no? Like that's what it came down to.
Yeah, that was definitely an element of it, but also just like, dude, like I've told you time and again, like get your second shot, like whatever, and then like right up to the finish line of when she's supposed to actually make it to see me, because we've been talking every day and like everything was all good with us. But
didn't you need to wait, like with the vax? Didn't you need to? It took like 2 weeks for it to be a valid.
That's what. Yeah, I recently looked back on our old text messages.
Yeah.
Like a real healthy human being, and
It's fun. I think it's good that we have these. You know, we used to have letters. Now we scroll.
Yeah. She had said it was only like a 2-day thing. I don't fucking know, but yeah.
Yeah, because that doesn't add up to me.
Yeah, I said as much in the text, but no.
It's funny how people can fuck you up, huh? Like, how long were you guys seeing each other?
Dude, not even that fucking long, but...
Yeah.
Literally from October to whatever, till end of March, which I know is like nothing. And half that time I wasn't even in the same country.
But still, like the level of, like I think you can even just see someone for 4 weeks and it can really fuck with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a girl tell me once, also had like a intense thing with, and she was engaged and with someone else. And then I was like the next guy. Mm-hmm. And she was like, you get to a point in 3.5 months that it takes most dudes 3.5 years to get to. And I think that that's kind of true because, like, I just put it all out there and then, like, we get past a lot of the bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I just burn through these relationships fairly quickly.
That's what I do as well. Like 6 weeks. Yeah. That's it. I can't. Yeah. Like, I'm able to, it seems like I'm efficient enough to be able to assess, all right, am I actually like, pheromonally and do I want to be with this person, you know? And then also the intellectual stuff, am I connected here? And then is the dynamic healthy? I can assess that very quickly.
Yeah.
Like the am I actually attracted to this person? That's quite fast. That's usually like, you know. But sometimes it takes 6 weeks to really go, oh, well, despite how wonderful this person is on paper or how our life paths match up and but you might not have this like drive to be with them, right. But then you can have that drive to be with someone and all the things on paper are terrible and it's unhealthy and
right.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like
do you have as a woman, I have like a very stereotypical male problem, but like I don't know what to do about it, which is I really do get like diminishing returns on sex where like after the first few times I'm like, and I still like love it, like, but I'd much rather just like snuggle and watch a movie than have sex because I really like the inappropriate stuff. And so like the first time you're having sex with a woman, you're like, I did it. Like I won her, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
then I'll stay up till God knows what hour like to make that happen. But it's like when like they're like a guaranteed thing, you're like, isn't sleep sound way better right now than like fuck, like, you know? I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting.
But women will say that the more they know the guy, the better the sex gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely my experience. The more trust I feel, and the more comfortable is not a sexy word, right? But like the more secure I feel with them. Although I have an instance that doesn't match that at the moment, which is new. But like usually the equation is the more but secure can exist in different forms. Yeah, the more secure I am in the mutual appreciation and feeling understood by them, the better the sex is. And so it takes a little bit, but like usually in a relationship, it takes me maybe 5 weeks of like regular sex in 5 weeks, maybe like meeting up 2 or 3 times a week and fucking at least 3 times each time we meet, let's say. It'll still take me like 5 weeks before I can come.
Right. That sucks. Like,
but it's okay, because honestly, like you can see it as it being shitty. Yeah, but really it's like there's something like there's something that I don't feel comfortable coming with them.
Yeah,
and it's like there's a vulnerability in coming, and but it's also just getting to know each other's bodies and feeling secure in what the dynamic is.
Right.
And some people have been a little bit faster, and like there's someone that I see who is not available. And when I see them, like we've only really seen each other maybe 5 times in a space of a year. And recently, the last time, like I came like crazy, and like that's after like only 5 meetings,
right?
Which is very efficient for
right.
And and the security is not that I've got a relationship with him, but like I guess the dynamic feels secure because I know what it is and its limits. But I've got one of my best friends. She is the same as you. She says the sex always gets worse after the first few times, and it's not as interesting, and it's not as exciting, and so she'd prefer to meet someone new.
Right. I think
which is interesting.
I think like my brain was definitely very like warped by porn, and like I was of the age of like old school like dial-up internet. Like
I was there,
like waiting a minute for like a shot of a pussy to finish. Like but I mean it was definitely part of my adolescence, and certainly by college. And so even when I'm with a woman, like it's very hard for me to be in the moment if it's not inappropriate in itself. So like if I'm with a girl that I've been seeing a long time, like I have to imagine that it's like she's moved on to some other dude, and it's the night before their wedding, but we met up again, and then I'm fucking her, and I'm gonna come inside her, and then she's gonna be at the altar with like my cum dripping and so, like I have to warp the scenario to be like something fucked up in my head. That's not so much the case on like the initial times I'm having sex. It's just that once I get comfortable with her, I'm like, what's the hot part though? Like,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good.
I'm not judging it, but it means it's a lot of work for you.
Yeah.
And that's Have you communicated this in relationships where you're like, can we make this fucked up somehow? Or like, how can we because like I am really bad at communicating during sex, but like dirty talk is just like everything that comes out of my mouth when I'm fucking. I'm like, it sounds like in my head. I'm like, no words, like just no words.
Interesting.
It's like there's room for jokes and like the way you might say something, and there's just too much space for, I guess, it to be funny or awkward or whatever. Like, right. There's too much scope here. But yeah, in terms of like spicing it up, like, have you tried? Like, do you guys do dirty talk to role play and like fuck around with that stuff?
Yeah, it depends on the girl. Like this previous Italian person, like the very first night, like I peed on her. But see, that's what I'm saying is when you set the bar so high from the get-go, it's like, where do you go from there?
Can you set the scene for the golden shower? Because I've never, and it's never, and I can't imagine how it naturally would.
I didn't think I would be into it. I had a girl that like
she wanted it?
She complied. Like I mean, like, what do you mean? I mean, like, I don't know that she was like, oh, you know what I really want to do tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I want you to be on me.
But when I presented it, she was like, okay.
Okay, so how do you get to that point? Had you done it before?
I did it once when I was 20, and I was dating this 19-year-old, and she's the one who like brought me into like weird kinky shit. Like I was all just soft and sensual before that. And then our first date, like I left with like scratch marks all over me and hickeys, and like looked like I gotten the shit beat out of me. And I remember like the very first time I had like some inclination in bed where like I kind of wanted to like move my hand up towards her neck. And I told her, I was like, I feel so fucked up about that. She's like, no, I want that.
Okay.
And then like she kind of brought me into, true story, I've never had a dick in my ass.
Okay. Okay, context. You have a great bit about sucking dick.
I used to be like a gay for pay sex worker, but not gay.
What do you call it? Gay
for pay?
Gay for pay. I like that. Gay for pay.
But the woman when I was 20, has fucked me with a strap on.
Cool.
Yeah.
You've been pegged. Yeah.
But she also wanted me to pee on her, and so that was like my foray into golden shower. Yeah. Is
the enjoyment of a golden shower just because it's so like kind of degrading, like to pee on someone is a degradation.
Yeah.
Culturally.
I've only done it 3 times. Like it was I left it I left it alone until Southeast Asia, and Classic. Had a woman who was like, yeah, like, let me lick your ass, like piss into my mouth. I want to drink your piss. Like, and then like that reintroduced me to it. And I was like, this is hot, you know?
There is something hot about that complete, like, degrade me stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing around a little bit more with that, at least in my fantasies, and a little bit with some people where it's like me, like I'm, you know, obviously like a sub, and but to a point, like whatever, and playing around with, you know, that really like tell me what to do and degrade me, like it's hot, it is hot, but like peeing in the mouth, that's like some next level shit. Yeah It's there's ways to make it like not so displeasurable, like being well hydrated. Being well hydrated would be really important. Very well hydrated. I kind of say it as a joke on stage, but it's actually like legitimately true that I did not eat asparagus for like 6 years of my life because of the off chance that I might end up getting like a blowjob that night. Wow.
And it's such an unpleasant smell.
I guess I don't date enough Germans, you know.
But you know that's a thing, that like if you eat asparagus.
Yeah. But it's been a long time since I've eaten it. Yeah. Or lived with someone that's eaten it and smelt their pee. Yeah. It's been quite a while since I've smelt someone else's pee. Yeah. Yeah. You could.
Yeah. So there's things you can do to I don't know. I think as I'm getting older, I'm coming into my piss play part of life.
Great. Yeah. Great. How did you negotiate the kind of cleanup? Because I'm pretty OCD.
Oh,
did you just do it when you were in the shower?
All 3 times. It was always in like a shower tub situation.
Great. Yeah. That makes me happy. Yeah. The idea of just like on the fucking floor, I'm like, oh. Yeah. I did have a guy pee on my floor recently.
Like intentionally?
No, it wasn't intentional. The best part of it, I have talked about on the podcast before, but we were fuck-eyed, like super drunk at this concert, and then I was like, I've got some pill, and so we like had a bit of a pill, and then he was like, I'd like to kiss you, and I was like, yeah, and he's like, I'd like to have sex with you, and I was like, let's kiss first, and I was like, okay, let's go home, and then we come home, and we're way too fucked to fuck. We fall asleep, and then in the morning, in the morning I get up to go to the bathroom, and I slip on this puddle, and I like literally airborne and then smack down. Yeah. And I'm like, why is it wet near the front door? And I look at it, I'm like, maybe someone's like poured a beer under the door. Did we bring beers home? I'm looking for the beer bottles. I put down a towel, I like dry off. I I go back into bed and he's like, what happened? And I was like, it was wet near the door. He's like, oh. And then when eventually we get up, I was like, do you know what happened? And I was really looking for the beer bottles, and he was like,
Could you smell it?
yeah, it was not that bad, but like given how much we were drinking, it should have smelt worse, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, I peed on your floor. And I was like, sorry? And he's like, no, I peed on your floor. I'm like, no, come on. Like, you would remember. Like, he's like, no, I peed on, I'm really embarrassed. I'm sorry. I peed on your floor. Yeah. Like he woke up and didn't, like, you've seen how small my apartment is. Like, he couldn't make it to the bathroom.
Right. Huh.
Yeah. So I've had someone, if my home is a symbol of myself, I have been peed on.
Sure. Yeah.
And then like slid in it.
Yeah, there's like some like Three Stooges, like old school physical comedy there.
It was like, because I was rushing to the toilet, I really skidded, and I really was airborne and went smack down. Yeah, but like there was a thwack, you know?
Yeah, but now you forever have that story.
Yeah. I'd like to be able to make it funnier, but like as in I don't. You know those stories where you just can't really make it a good bit. It's like, how do I make this funny? The only thing I could say was like, I have a tendency to date younger men, but like, you know, they're usually toilet trained. But the fucked up thing was like, this was the most age appropriate man I'd fucked for like 6 months.
Right.
So I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Yeah.
What's your thing with younger dudes?
It just happens. They come to me, or I'm somehow drawn to them and think that they're older than they are.
Yeah.
So like the youngest guy that I guess I've ever really been with was this 24-year-old guy that I was seeing. We sort of stopped seeing each other. Beautiful. I think he's so attractive. I'm so physically attracted to him. Israeli, like just this glowing, beautiful skin and like this hair. He's cool, but he's 24. But when I met him, I really thought he was like 29, 30, like.
Yeah.
And when he told me he was 24, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, we're still doing this. But yeah, and it's just like I'm not looking for the youth. It happens.
Right. Do you ever have issues with like women often saying like, men are so immature and so forth, and does it not really matter for?
I don't think men are so immature. Like everyone can be immature.
Sure.
And I think, but you know, dating someone, it's like I think the biggest issue with dating someone much younger than you as a woman is that kind of how society shapes men a bit still. They can still, despite the age difference, a younger man can still think he can tell me what to do, or like tell me how to do things better. And and think that like their experience is comparable to mine, and it's like we can compare it, but I have 10 years on you. Like don't tell me how to quit smoking.
Right.
Like I've been dealing with it for the last 10 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you smoked for 1 year, you're 23. Like let's back up.
Yeah.
Like don't give me advice.
Yeah.
And so a bit of the issue with the younger day is just that power dynamic where they want to be the authority and they want to be the man and the kind of the power figure, I guess, but because I'm 8 years older, that's challenged.
Yeah.
And that's uncomfortable for them.
Yeah. When I was in my young 20s, I would tend to date older women. And two things came out of that. One, I think that older women often would just go for it in bed. Like they didn't have their own like shyness and reservations.
Yeah, no.
But also I think part of that for me was, again, like the inappropriate hotness of it.
Okay.
And as I've gotten older, that's switched to like, so now me being with a 42-year-old woman is like, meh.
Yeah.
Because
Well, you already did that age difference. And
so now it's going the other direction.
Exactly. and going up once you're in your 30s there's not any inappropriateness to it. Like it's if you're in your 30s and you date someone in their 40s, people don't really go ooh, but it's the 20s 30s thing that's people are like ooh.
Yeah, I had sex. There was an old dude that was part of the sex worker thing. That was, I'm guessing, like in his like mid to late 70s. Very gross.
Why? He was a sex worker. Oh, and this was a guy that you serviced.
Correct. So I talk about this in stage with I have like a longer set, but like I learned so much from that at such a young age because I was like 20 and he was 78 or something.
78.
Something like that.
Wow. I'm so interested.
But he was dry humping me so we're both fully naked, and he's like rubbing his dick on my stomach.
On your stomach, okay.
Like fucking me, but not with no penetration.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, I want this to be fucking over with. And I had a thought in my head. And so his face is here and I'm looking up at the ceiling. I was like, what if I pretended he was way better at this than he is? Okay. And so I just started going like, oh, fuck me with your big fat cock. And like literally 7 seconds later, he's just like, and his head falls into the pillow and mine's looking up at the ceiling and this giant smile comes over my face because it was in that moment that I understood why women fake orgasms. It's like, just get that shit done with. Yeah.
I've never faked an orgasm. I'm very happy to just go, I need a break. Yeah. Or or like get out of my house, you know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
If it's bad sex. But yeah, no, that's exactly why. We want it over, like women who do that want it over. Yeah. That's a really, that's a graphic description of like this old dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking your stomach.
I won't do it here, but I say his name on stage because it's so perfect for everything. I'll tell you off mic or whatever, but also I think he's dead. So you know what I mean? Like, does it really matter? Like, I'm not in the business of outing clients, but
no. But you say his full name on stage?
His full name is perfect. Oh. It's so good.
Okay, this is motivation for any listener to definitely go to an Eric Barry show. Yeah. Just to hear this fucking name. There was, I did this, I can't really talk about it actually. It's kind of like a deep, I did a sketch that's problematic. Anyway, when but basically there was a guy on the set who is an older, like he's in his 60s, and he's an attractive dude in his 60s. He's like an old Turkish guy. He's got like the nose that I like, and he has vibe. And after the shoot, he asked my friend for my number. My friend was like, Anna, would you want to hang out with this 60-year-old dude? And I was like, I don't know, like, why would I, like, maybe, he looks like he's older than my stepfather, and I think that there's where it becomes uncomfortable, where it's like, I'm fucking my parents' generation.
Right.
Right?
But for some women, that is part of the...
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like cliche, but the whole daddy issues thing
But like so close to the actual daddy is, that's just, I don't have daddy issues like that, I guess. I don't know. Is there a family member that you would want to, like, that you think subconsciously?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I used to have, well, I still do, but there was a cousin who was like...
Yeah, I had a cousin. Oh, God, I just said this on my podcast. I had a cousin when I was younger that I had a crush on, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually, like, similar, like, the way he looks... was a reason for me to not continue dating someone, actually. Okay. Last year, I realized he reminded me too much of him, and I was like, ugh. I was grossed out. But I don't mimic, like, I'm not seeking a similar person to that cousin. No, not at all. But yeah, there was only one cousin that I was ever attracted to. But like, you've got a cousin who you are looking for in people? Like, as in, like, it's a type that you... No,
okay. It was just like...
You'd fuck him. Them.
And it felt like there was a moment at which that almost happened, but like,
ooh.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of people do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in science, like, we're all related on some level, or even if you believe in the Christian Judeo God, we're all related on some level. Like,
yeah,
like.
I had a boyfriend whose surname was the same as my mum's surname, and going back, like we were of the same like Scottish clan.
Right.
Yeah. Our tartans were almost this. Yeah, we were the original tartan, and then he was an offshoot of our tartan. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think in most U.S. states it's now legal to marry your cousin because like the genetic pool is so varied that the chances of you having any fucked up offspring are very minimal. It's more like brother, sister, father, son, or father, daughter. Like
It's just so gross. It's just I got deep into reading about incest at one point when I was clubhouse days, and the whole dynamic of the brother and sister thing is just sickening. Like it's so, but there's a scientific thing around it, which is that if siblings are separated when they're really young and then they meet later as adults, there's something like chemical scientific where it's a syndrome or something where they are romantically attracted to each other.
Right.
Because there's something like
Right.
in their genetics because they're so similar that it's like, and I think yeah.
So they've done this counters that a little bit, but like they've done this study and it's been repeated over and over again. It's super interesting. They take 10 men and 10 women, and they have the dudes like work out in t-shirts, whatever, get all sweaty, and then they have the women smell the t-shirts and rate them. Consistently, women will say that the male sweat smells bad, unless they're ovulating, in which case they still think it's bad, but just not as bad. But the one that they always rate as the least appealing is, it turns out that they're actually siblings. It's 10 brothers and sisters, yeah. And so they always rate the sibling one like the least attractive.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, that's good for.
But that's because they've been in contact with their sibling, I guess. I think it's the space and distance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like they don't know who's who.
Yeah.
I
find the pheromonal stuff fascinating. Like, it's crazy how much chemistry is based purely on that. Like it is that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's they have like oils and stuff you can buy to like try to create like a fake. I might have just sampled it once or twice, but
why would you want to do that?
I kind of feel like it works.
Really?
Yeah.
But like, hold on. But the thing is, you've got your own pheromones, right? And other people do. So you wouldn't want to fuck with them because you want your body to be attracted to the body that you're genetically, drawn to.
Yeah, in the long run, yeah, sure. But if you're just going out for a night, I don't feel like women will ever fully appreciate like how fucking crazy testosterone is and like what it drives you to do and like
we have testosterone.
I sure.
Yes, and when we menstruate, we have more, like when we're bleeding.
Yeah. And
so we do understand a bit.
Yeah.
I guess, but yes, you have much higher levels.
There's I used to like interview a fair number of trans people, and like
that's interesting.
Yeah, when it would be like male to female, they would. It sounds so stereotypical, but they'd be like. So male to female, they'd be like, I became less aggressive. I started crying more. My sex drive plummeted.
I started crying more.
No, like they're like more in touch with their emotions, more communicative.
Yeah.
And the opposite, the other way around, like started getting way more aggressive, like kind of shut off my emotions and just wanted to fuck all the time.
I think I have very high levels of testosterone.
It sounds like you might.
Like I'm hairy enough, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure my testosterone levels are healthy, There's a level of aggression and just wanting to, fuck, I guess. That's a testosterone thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
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 Sounds like you have a very healthy sex life.
Yeah, it's all right. I get by. I've committed to stop hunting, actually.
Yeah.
In the last, because I got sick last week, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop hunting. I deleted all the apps, and I've reformed my perspective on love. Like, I'll still fuck, right? If like someone's like, hey, but in terms of like going out and looking for it, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. What's your relationship with, like you've talked about on stage, with women?
I have very rarely been attracted to a woman where I would pursue her sexually or romantically. I think there's been like 3 or 4 in my life, really, that I've been like, and but that said, like in terms of I think you and I are similar in this regard. Like in a sex, like a free sex space or like a sex party or in sexual spaces, I'll fuck anything. Like.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're there and I'm here and we're naked and the idea is that we're fucking, then of course I'm not gonna pursue her.
Right.
But if she's lying next to me, I'm not gonna ignore her.
Right.
Am I gonna get am I gonna put on my serviette and tuck my serviette in my collar and get excited to eat her pussy? No, but I will eat it if there's nothing happening here and my mouth is free.
Is it motivated by like male energy towards like a threesome, or not necessarily?
What do you mean?
Is it like a dude being like, dude, we should hook up with this girl, and then you're like, okay, I'll do it because of that, or?
I mean more. Or like I've instigated threesomes with couples.
Yeah.
And they've also been it's not like I'm like, fuck it, I want to fuck the 2 of you, but as in we come together because we all want to have a threesome.
Right.
And in those situations, I'm not going to be the first one to be rushing to the eating her out, but I will, if she eats me, I'll eat her. We'll keep it balanced.
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat, exactly. And also the other spaces more like a sex, like an orgy space. That's something where. Yeah, but honestly, I'd prefer to do nothing and everyone to just give me their energy, and that be predominantly men. But women are also there, and it's a group activity.
Yeah. Have you been with 2 dudes at the same time?
I have been with 2 dudes at the same time. Yes.
Is that a lot of work?
Oh, not as in with no other women around or no other people around, just 2 dudes and me.
Basically getting tag teamed.
Yeah, usually there's been more people there.
Okay. Fair enough.
Not just 2. I'm just trying to think if I haven't had a pure 2 dudes and me threesome.
Yeah.
No, it's on the list of things to do.
Sure.
Yeah. Also, I say you've had sex with what's the right way of saying it? A trans woman with a penis?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have, and was not planning on going into that evening.
Oh, that's right. You have a bit about it, no?
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't the plan, though. Okay. So you haven't intentionally had sex with a trans woman that has a penis.
Well, I mean, at a certain point, I was making the decision, but I was on a date that was not going well. And this is back when Tinder was actually practical and you could meet people from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I got another match on Tinder while I was in the bathroom or something on this other date. And I was like,
a classic Eric story.
And I was like, I'm going to bow out of this date because it wasn't going well.
Yeah.
And this other girl was like, yeah, let's meet. And I thought I had read the profile fully, but at the very bottom, it was by the way, I'm trans. And you couldn't tell from the pictures. And then they showed up. And once she started speaking, it became
very clear.
Very clear. And I really didn't know what to do in that situation. And we couldn't go to a bar.
Because?
I was 27 or something, and she was 20, and in the U.S.
Oh, yeah, 21.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is considered much more taboo in the U.S. But
yeah,
where you can be 16 at a bar here.
Yeah.
So there wasn't we're gonna go to this bar, and it was the option was to go to my place that was 2 blocks away. So we did that, and then I just got fucking hammered, and was
You just didn't want to be rude, huh?
I mean, there is an element, I think a lot of women could relate to that, where sometimes it's easier just to go through with the sexual act a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think if that seems horrific, you know what I mean? To just go through with it.
It's not that you're like being traumatized. Like it's not. No one was holding a gun to my head. But
no. But it's easier than getting out of the situation.
Am I supposed to be sorry? Sorry, I didn't realize you were trans. Like I'm out. Like, can you leave my house? Like, you know, like
you could find another excuse, dude. You could be like, my stomach is. Oof, I think I've got diarrhea.
Sure.
You know, like,
well, I mean, that's right
that's always,
now. Yeah, but like,
that's always the case.
But like, I think, so there's a certain part of me that wanted to like wade into those waters, I'm sure. Like I don't have to make up excuses, but I really would not have gone through with the date had I not known. And this is part of the joke, but it is so fucking true. Like she had a massive fucking dick.
Really?
Yeah. And like, I'm already self-conscious. Like I'm not that big, like self-conscious about size and stuff. And it is such a mind fuck to be fucking a lady with a bigger dick than yours.
So how did you? So it was anal sex.
That's where you got to put it.
I'm just clarifying for anyone that's confused.
There was not. She had not had like bottom surgery to like have. Yeah. Yeah. And like because I'm not a guy who has sex with men. Like it was. Like literally like it's like slapping back and forth between. I was like, holy shit, this is fucking what a mind fuck.
That's fascinating. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
it's so interesting. I dated someone who started transitioning. And I'm pretty sure she takes hormones now. And we were dating, and she decided that she wanted to be a she, and and so like. You know, I could say that I have, but like, no, she hadn't transitioned at that point.
Right.
Yeah. But what's the other thing that I could be with a trans man? So a woman that has become a man. Again, I'm not sure. Like, that's interesting to me, I guess. But having penis surgery, like getting a penis, I would be interested to see what the penis looks like.
So it's it's often not done because it's very hard. Like it's
hard, right?
It's easier to, for lack of finer words, to create a hole than to build up erectile tissue.
Which is why most intersex people are female, because it was easier just to remove the penis. Right. When the people did surgery without the consent of the person. Yes. So it's rarely done, and then when it is done.
There's like not too dissimilar to this.
Okay, good.
There's like literally like mechanical like rods that you can put like to create an erection.
Okay.
And so it's just not that practical. So a lot of trans men just keep their lady bits.
Their vagina.
Yeah.
And then I guess strap-on's the way.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll do it. I get I haven't had someone. Oh, I have had someone. Yeah. I was going to say with a strap-on. Have I had someone fuck me with a strap-on? No, I haven't had someone fuck me with a strap-on, I don't think. No. So that could be on the list. Yeah,
I'm sure it's the same or similar as a woman, because like I've had that done, as I mentioned. And that's a mind fuck too, where you're like, why my legs are up in the air and why are the tits swinging at me like this? Like it's I think every straight dude, whatever, give it a shot once, just for the perspective. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always said I wanted to peg someone. I think and also for a woman to be taking that position as well, I think that's a mindfuck for us too. It's like, I am the one that's thrust, like a woman can also be, and does put movement into it, but like the thrust.
Yeah.
And just to fuck someone up the ass, there's,
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a man, I guess, but I think it would be more interesting. But yeah, I don't know. The whole, so you identify as bisexual, or?
I don't.
You're straight, right?
And then I stopped saying that. Like, I've gone through so many terms in my fucking life.
Yeah.
I was at a play party once, a sex party, and I really didn't like this, but the dude, like, made us go around and say our orientation. And I just felt like it was going to be kind of like, I don't know, just it made me a little uncomfortable. Not even for myself, but like that he was putting that on other people.
Yeah.
So when it got to me, I was just like, I identify as down to party. And like, that's kind of my...
DTP.
Yeah.
All right.
I overwhelmingly, like statistically, overwhelmingly have sex with women. I jokingly say like I give myself one guy a year, and it's usually
you give yourself one guy a year.
no, it's
That's
usually
amazing.
when it's happened. It's usually on like Pride or something like that.
Aww,
and I gotta give back to the community.
Give it back,
and
yeah.
I'm an ally. Okay.
Yeah, you are.
Like it's always like when I'm super fucked up, and it's usually in the context of there being like a woman there. So like there was one time that I was doing.
It's usually in the context of there being a woman there. Okay.
Yeah, there was a time like I was the most blow I've ever done in my life, and I was not a cocaine guy in my 20s. That's changed a little.
That has changed. Also, Berlin changes that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there were these two women who wanted to have like a threesome, and we were at their place, and I did like, I don't know, 14 lines I'd never done.
Whoa.
Yeah. And we were hooking up, and like their gay roommate was there, and he's like, "Can I watch?" I was like, "Sure." And then he's like, "Can I suck your dick?" And I was like, "Why not?" Like, I'm like making out with these two women while a guy's sucking my dick. And then we ended up going back to my place because I didn't want to go further with the dude. And that's when I discovered coke dick, which I didn't realize. I mean, I'd never done so much coke in my life, but like furiously masturbating for like 8 hours trying to get hard while there's like fucking two naked women. And
It's a bummer, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Coke dick, yeah. Although, yeah. Well, yeah. I haven't encountered it that much.
I've never really had it happen like that again, but
Yeah.
again, I did so much cocaine.
Yeah. That's,
I like immediately Googled afterwards because I'd always heard of like whiskey dick and stuff, and I Googled, I was
Of
like,
course.
"Is this a thing?"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like it turns out it is, but
it's a little
it's
bit
just-
of anxiety.
it's diverting
there.
the blood elsewhere in your body.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's also like some drugs can keep you hard for a bit longer, but I'd say Viagra is the only. Have you tried Viagra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So I'm not to keep referencing this, but we did a podcast. I just loved that podcast, and I had to stop it, unfortunately. But like,
Yeah, just because of some legal stuff, right?
we got sued by a porn company. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you still find the podcast, or is it gone?
I think it's gone. It was called Full Disclosure.
Nice.
But and I talked about like so openly about everything in a way that I think could come back to haunt me. That I was like, eh.
I think about this with this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that today as well. Like,
yeah, it's like, whoa.
But we did this thing where it was me and 3 other comics, and then my co-host, who's fucking amazing, Jess, who was like this like kind of kinky model, down for whatever girl. And so we each took a Viagra at the beginning of the show.
Ooh.
And then she went around giving us like topless massages and like
Nice.
lap dances. And the goal was whoever gets hard last
Wins.
wins the money that we put into the.
Wow, that is amazing. It wasn't filmed, was it? Because that's a shame.
There's a little, there's some footage on like a phone somewhere.
That's
But, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Nobody got hard.
What?
Yeah, and so what it turns out
That
is
must
like,
have been shattering for her.
it was her birthday too, and so we decided that we gave her the money.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's when I realized like, okay, like if you need to be wanting to have the erection to get it.
So Viagra only works if you want to be hard. It's
Yeah.
not going to do it like, it's not like in True Blood where they take vampire blood and they're just like,
Yeah. No, I think like also just like the weirdness and the pressure of like we're with like 3 male friends and we're podcasting while we're doing it. Like there's a lot of anxiety going into that, so I don't think it was going to be suit.
that's very honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've taken it since, and in the U.S. you can get like off-label stuff that's super cheap now, and it's fucking amazing.
How cheap?
I think like Blue Chew is like one of the brands, and you can get it's like $2 a pill or something. If you get like a pack of 30 or whatever, it's like
My drug dealer sells them.
Yeah.
I've never had sex knowingly.
Oh, it's
with
just
Viagra around.
the hardest, like whatever the fullest extent of that man's erection is able to be, it gets you there. So yeah, and for a very long time, like
How long?
well, so like with Cialis, which is like the drug name, as opposed to Viagra, which is Yeah. Anyway, I think it's tadalafil or something.
Okay.
That one you take, and for 36 hours, like, you're good to go whenever you want. So it's not like you're walking around with an erection, but like, whereas Viagra you have to take like 4 hours before, so you really have to know that like
it's happening.
Yeah.
And then once 4 hours have passed, you're then.
Yeah, I don't know for exactly how long, but like, yeah, I think you can stay hard for hours on end after that. But the 36-hour one is nice because you can just take it on like a fucking Friday afternoon, and you're like,
good for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's so. I had no idea that it's just like, that's so cool.
Like, when I go back to the States, like, and you know, God willing, come back to Europe at some point, 100% loading up on that stuff before.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. But you know, again, there's like crazy disparity in, you know, pharmaceutical research for women's stuff versus men's stuff. But that's very cool. 36 hours, good to go.
Yeah.
Full power. Yeah, I want to fucking someone tipped me my very first solo show. My very first like headlining I put on. It was like me as the headliner, and 30 minutes. Someone tipped me with a Viagra.
Yeah.
I still have it. It's probably terribly expired, but
if you find a nice gentleman you want to try it out with, I recommend it.
But it's a thing. Bringing it up with a guy, not a comfortable topic.
No.
Oh, dude, like, could we maybe make you hotter? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
you can frame it around it being for his pleasure, because it actually does make the sensation of the penis feel better, because like you're fully engorged, like all the blood's right there.
Okay.
So like I feel like I come way harder, and like
this is good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, I am now going to be able to sell it, because otherwise you bring it up and you just sound like you're criticizing their hardness or their whatever.
Yeah.
Not that I've tried, but like I've thought about it. I'm like, oh, maybe I can bring this up, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Like, it's just gonna sound critical.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's this? Oh, do you know what? It's a Viagra. Do you know? Have you tried it before? Maybe.
Yeah. You could always like Cosby them, you know.
I've thought about that.
You could.
I actually, I started writing a bit about it. There was a guy I was seeing, and I was like, I just want to, like the sex was nice, but it was like, you know, when people get older, it's less, it's more like an 80%er as opposed to 100. And I was like, I reckon if it was like fully hard, it would be like way better.
Yeah.
And, but then I broke up with him.
I've heard that like firmness, hardness is more important than size. I'm sure it depends on the woman, but like
totally, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't articulated it for myself, but yeah. If you're like a super hard little guy, you're still gonna like be doing something. You're gonna be felt, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're like, and you're big, then it's still like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to, still kind of, but like definitely when I was younger, would not go soft after I came. So like in theory I could have multiple orgasms. Like I just keep going, you know, 3-4 times or whatever. And I'm thinking it's because there's like less volume that needs to be filled with the blood. So like I know dudes who have like huge dicks and they have more erection troubles.
Absolutely. A medium is nice.
Yeah, that's what every woman says.
Yeah, medium's good, because then if they can stay hard after they come, that's also like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. But it's also, you know, you don't want to expect that.
I definitely, again, like typical shitty male behavior, but I definitely have a thing where like when the condom comes out, I'm like, it kind of.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I don't, it's not like I'm trying to make, but there's something that's just like, I think like evolutionarily or something. I'm like, no, I want to get you pregnant.
Yeah. There's something, isn't there? Although, oh man, safe sex, like, I really need the guy to be like, all right. Otherwise, I'm like, all right, let's do the condom. And it's just, it's a team sport, you know. We both need to bring out the condom. Like, it shouldn't. We need to say it. Okay.
I've done like very frequently. This ends up happening where we're like, yes, condom on, condom good, ish. And then either because of like an erection thing or like it's just super hard to come for me with a condom on. Like it's like getting a massage with like a pea coat on.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't really, you know.
Yeah.
And so then they'll be like, let's just take it off. And it's like we went through the whole rigmarole for just like the show of it, like to say that we tried. It's like, all right.
Even recently, like in my experience of my life, at some point, you know, like I'll have sex with a condom like 3 times and then, you know, fall asleep and then have sex no condom, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Like there were 3, like we were good 3 times, and then we undo it all. Like, so dumb. Fucking condoms. Okay, let's look to wrap this up. Do you have anything that you wanted to talk about in mind, or any questions, or any place we haven't like come to conclusion on? Or
I have a crazy life, so there's so much shit. But like, I feel pretty good.
You feel pretty good about this. You feel pretty good. Do you think you're gonna get laid after this?
Time will tell.
I
have a show, so. And I can't get fucked up tonight because I cannot miss my flight.
You cannot miss your flight tomorrow.
Yeah, and sober sex. What's that? You know,
gross. No, I do really like sober sex. You don't like sober sex?
I go sober every year in the beginning of the year, and like for as long as I can, and it immediately kills my dating life. Having sex with someone the first time sober, I can count on like one hand like the amount of times.
But like a beer. Like you meet up at a bar, you have a beer, and then
so
that's very honest.
Yeah, so tonight, like, I don't know if a beer is on the table, but
okay, because one beer, then you're like, yeah. Last night got out of hand. I just planned to have a couple of drinks, and then it was like, yeah, it got out of hand.
Yeah,
which is fun. But okay, cool. Well, maybe you have so much in your luggage of filth that maybe in the future we do this again.
Sure. Yeah, that would be great.
What are your Instagram?
It's at Eric. That's Eric with a C, and then Barry with an A. Eric Barry Comedy.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Where can we? You've got your solo. Are you going to be doing your solo in the States?
Maybe at some point, but I have nothing on the docket. Like
okay.
I will be a soon-to-be 37-year-old dude living with his mom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Getting, I don't know.
Sweet mama pussy? I don't know.
So glad you finished that for me. I didn't want to say it. All right, perfect. It's been super fun. AF Barros as well for my Instagram, and check us out in London.
Yeah, that's right.
Check us out in London. Fuck yeah. Maybe we see each other on Friday.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, that's been Adults Only Comedy Berlin. Thank you so much and goodbye.